All right, everyone. Welcome to episode 39 of Toonami Squad podcast sessions. Tonight we have a special crossover episode with Wicked Publishing Podcast. We'll be talking about Jack Irons, the Steel Cowboy. We have Michael, co-founder of Wicked Publishing and the creator of Jack Irons, the Steel Cowboy.
All right,
Thank you
howdy,
guys for
folks.
Thank you guys for having us.
No problem. Glad to have you here. And also Sam is with us as well.
Hi.
Sorry.
Hey Sam.
Can we have one episode where we don't screw the intro up?
No, I don't think so, man. That's kind of your thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Also, I should mention I'm also a member of the Toonami Squad. I write
Yes.
Toonami history
Full
articles.
disclosure.
One of those good old disclosure things, right?
Another disclosure. I'm a Toonami fan, so just so that works out. Make sure everybody knows where the investments are.
That's right. Well, thank you again for having us. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
No problem. So, why don't you guys go ahead and tell us about Jack Irons?
All right. Well, I guess I'll take that one. Jack Irons, Steel Cowboy. The quick pitch is immortality meets reincarnation during the galactic end times. Hopefully that interests folks. The long story is Jack is an immortal cowboy. He's a man who remembers many past lives, but in this one he's stuck in a body that's unkillable and immortal. He can't find a way to escape this life. And so we throw that unfortunate soul into a weird western galactic-wide apocalypse. And you folks see him kind of try and come to terms with his unique existence and with the state of the universe, and try and rise against the four horsemen of the apocalypse, which basically an infinite variety of ways have infected the galaxy, and trying to make the galaxy into themselves. And honestly, it's been a heck of a journey. I've been stoked to take part. We work with a wonderful art team, Maximiliano Dallo from Argentina, wonderful line artist. Stephen Cannon, he is in Cali and is a wonderful color talent. If folks here soon enough, we'll be kind of showing off some of the art and such, so you folks can see what I'm talking about and call my bluff if you dare. But and I think I add a pretty good lyrical, poetic little stint to this wild, weird West concept.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and that guy right there, alongside Matt from Wikid as well, saw what we were doing a couple years back, and we've been working together since to get these out to the folks around the world. Last year we delivered nearly 500 issues internationally, and of course throughout the states, quite a few in the states, and was well received. And we're working hard on the issue 3 campaign, down to the wire. We've been working hard on it, and so we got 2 days left on it. And if you folks want to help support indie art during a kind of difficult time, that's partially why we're all here tonight, and I really appreciate the opportunity. And if you folks want to take a look at what we're doing while we're doing it, or if you have any questions, I'm here and I would love to answer them.
Definitely, and in fact, I'll go ahead and post a link, if we can, of the Indiegogo in the chat so people can go take a look at the page themselves if they like as well. And I'll go ahead and just introduce myself while I'm here. So my name is Michael. I'm one of the co-founders of Wikid Publishing. We're an indie comic book and manga publishing company based out of California. And we publish a variety of creators from across the country, as well as a few out of the country as well. And one of the first comics we signed on was Jack Irons, the Steel Cowboy, here with Cody. And so we're out here promoting his Indiegogo, which is, as you can see, has only 2 days left, so it's close. But we need all the help we can get. And so we're just here to help spread the love of comics and for this weird space western.
And honestly, to let you folks get in on something real early and help kind of change the game for instance, for Wikid and for myself, but also a little bit of indie comics. You don't get stories like what we're putting out in the mainstream anymore. The closest thing was East of West from Image Comics, which finished just tail end of last year. And we even got the colorist for East of West, that series, on a variant cover for issue number 1, which is only available in this campaign. We've got a wonderful talents who support us and enjoy what we're doing. And personally, we also offer issue number 1 for a free read in black and white. Link is on the campaign right away. And the folks at Wikid are offering issue 1 and 2 digitally right now for $1 each. So there's a bunch of ways to support us, or at least check it out if you're interested in watching Immortal Cowboy try and change the universe from being completely consumed by 4 very negative aspects of reality.
Right, and the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse are one of the things I love the most about the campaign. And why don't we go ahead and dive into the art, as you said, we'll go ahead and dive into the campaign so we can kind of start taking a look at all this. But these forces of nature that have taken over the earth and have kind of put it on an apocalyptic kind of direction, you might say. It's
yeah,
it's really interesting, and it kind of dichotomizes against Jack Irons as a character. Maybe you could tell us a little about that.
Well, issue 1, we kind of introduce you to Jack, so you learn more about his immortality and what he is. Issue 2, we dive into what we were just talking about, which is how the Earth fell to the Horsemen and just a taste of it. And the Horsemen manifest on a planet when a sentient species has reached enough of whatever aspect they manifest. So say you have a planet that was all about reckless scientific growth. They would eventually rip into existence a version of Plague. And Plague would then continue to perpetuate himself as far as he can. And say they were a spacefaring civilization, well, then now you have a spacefaring crazy scientist. And so that's just one way. The one we've explored the most in the comics so far that you've seen the most of is Famine Inc., the reckless bureaucracy and corporate greed with only the goal for toiling and suffering. That's a big part of what we're exploring in this first arc of Jack Irons. And I think it's a fun concept. I think there's so much potential. We actually have been working on not just Jack Irons, but 4 other titles that take place in the same universe. We actually released a manga, which is available alongside that free-to-read issue number 1 on Tapastic. If you folks are interested, starring Cactus Coyote, a shape-shifting alien with a extra dimension in his stomach, who is a smuggler. So it's a wide world. We have a lot of plans, and we've been working on it for a while. I've been writing Jack for a good decade, and we've been working on Ironverse Comics and with Wikid Publishing for over 2 years now. And the quality of the books is great. And again, I'm hoping we can get into issue 3, because that is when Jack is challenged by yet another immortal, and we see if a immortal can be hunted. So I'm ecstatic to show folks more of that. We're already 7 pages into the production of the issue, and I just love making comics.
Well, I love, and I was looking for the art here. I apologize for scrolling through. I was actually looking for the art of the character you're mentioning, but his name is Tracker, the top predator. And as you can see here at the top, it says, "How can you be the top predator if there's something you cannot kill?" Jack Irons rides again. So I just love the idea of, we have this immortal character, and now we have the world's top predator who there's pretty much nothing he can't kill. And how did those two unstoppable forces, how does that clash, play out?
That's my hope for the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you would, Mike, if you want to scroll down to the first 4 pages that we have on the campaign,
I can do that,
see what's actually being done right now. In relation to that very concept, Jack has a very bad day. The first act of this issue, it's not a fun set for him. But, yeah.
Did you mean the first 4 pages of the first issue here?
No, if you keep going down the first 4 pages of issue 3, if you would.
I apologize.
No worries. I'm really proud of page 2 in particular. Stephen Cannon took Maxie's wonderful line art for that page and really made it sing.
Now, this is what you're talking about, I believe.
No. Keep going. It's blue. Main theme is blue. That is from issue number 2. That was like page 22 from issue 2.
Oh, here's another great shot. Here's another
There's a
good shot as we're looking for that art. These are the four horsemen again. So I
Yes,
just love the variety of like just kind of their personalities, really.
people have really enjoyed our character designs for them, and of course I do. I'm going to be biased on everything related to this book, but people have enjoyed how iconic and simple it is, yet unique. So I'm proud to carry those forward because again, each planet manifests a different version. So these are just how Earths look. So they will have very many different forms as we continue move forward. Now I think those pages should be above that pinup right there, and that is a pinup available in the campaign as well. There you go. That's page 4 right there that I'm looking at, and there we go. Page 2.
Okay. Excellent. There we go. It took me a while, but I got there. I love this. This is such a cool shot. So we see Jack Irons, and he's coming out of this little building here, this little hut, you might say, and then all of a sudden he's being stalked by this shadowy figure. And so I just love a couple of things about this page. I love the way the silhouette is, just the black silhouette on this first panel. And I love the way it kind of comes in. All of a sudden you see his mask. And it looks so good, man. I love
Maxie's
that.
art direction is great. My
right?
my writing at this point before it hits the page when it goes to Maxie is very broad. It allows him to really throw his heart into what he wants to do to make the scene pop. And that panel, for instance, is a great example of it. This issue takes place right after issue 2. At the end of issue 2, Jack had just delivered a young woman from outside the walls of New Deadwood, the last bastion of humanity, into New Deadwood. And so that's him after dropping her off at an alien shaman so she could heal. And the shaman tells him that there's something outside waiting for him that is more important than just more talk.
It's a trap.
Pretty much. And so Jack had just wandered outside to see what that is, and we hop right into issue 2 with him getting shot at, and then chasing this thing down to figure out who it is, why it is, and what the shaman meant. And again, I'm really excited to show off this issue. We just you end the scene at page 6 or so you're only seeing about 4 of them, but page 4 kind of shows the end of the scene, sort of, just less grandiose. And starting page 7, we have another wonderful flashback scene, and it's the first time you get to see Jack as a cowboy in the Old West. So I'm really looking forward to showing that as well.
Right, and something I've always been curious about with the character that you're introducing here in Tracker of the Top Predator, is it at all based in Native American? Is there any kind of Native American influence there by any chance?
So in particular, Tracker, absolutely. We explore a little bit of that in issue 3. He is native, and he's the immortal native to Jack's immortal cowboy. But the relationship's going to be much different than the average cowboy versus Indian relationship. But folks will see. But yes, there and just from where I am and the culture I grew up in and the family I have, there's going to be a lot of that kind of influence. But Jack overall is a philosophical exploration piece, and we're going to be exploring a lot of different dogmas, metaphors, and symbologies through Jack. We hit a lot of semi-Christian overtones just because of the Four Horsemen, and in issue 2 the whole apocalypse thing and Revelation and all that definitely had an undertone, but it will grow quite a bit. I just outlined and wrote something that had to actually do with the four sights in Buddhism. I'm excited to get that issue in production. That's issue 4, but I think this character has a lot of potential, and if folks enjoy our art, enjoy what we're doing, and have a few extra bucks, there's a lot of ways to support us, and there's one in particular that's really important and running out of time, which we're talking about right now.
And speaking of which, good art, Bernie Exeter in the chat says, this is some really good artwork and paneling.
Maxie Dallo's worked in storyboards and illustrations for years. He's a young man. He's younger than me, but he's been doing it very well for quite some time. He actually teaches down in Argentina as well. And his faith in our work and his continued efforts into it are just outrageous. I'm so damn humbled by our art team. They do amazing work.
Right. Yeah. And can you maybe tell us a little bit of how you first started working with him?
That's yeah. This story I've probably told a few different times. It's kind of fun. It's kind of goofy. So I had written this in high school, at least the first drafts, I'd say, because it changes quite a bit. There's about 3 or 4 drafts to each completed issue, basically, at different stages, pre and after art. But I had wrote the main scripts and such for a while, and they just sat there because I just wanted to write this and get this character out of my head and this world out of my head. So that sat for a little bit until I ended up with a little bit of money and the ability to kind of, and no other path is really. I was trying to look for something I really wanted to do, and this had been a dream since I wrote them. So I started reaching out to. Just reaching out, period, because when you begin this, you have no idea what channels to go through or anything to get get in contact with an artist or know what rates artists should charge that are just or know what artists actually deliver while others will kind of flake on you, all of that. So I just started, and I got in contact with a few artists, and they jerked me around quite a bit. Eventually, I was scraping the bottom of the barrel, so I had hit Reddit, I had hit everywhere that wasn't so social media influenced, because I still am a big privacy advocate, but I had to suck that up for marketing purposes pretty good. But at that time, the last straw was Craigslist. So I went up and I put an ad on Craigslist looking for a comic artist, and Maxi Dallo happened to be coming through my town. He comes through every once in a while. He's got family in Santa Fe, and they come up to where I am here and there for different purposes. And the timing happened to be right, and I was able to meet him at the local McDonald's and not get stabbed from a Craigslist ad. That was great. And we worked out the contract and such. Well, we didn't work out the contract. Of course, you meet and you kind of share styles and see how each other feels for the project and such. And we kind of, that first session we haggled on a price, and then he's like, okay, well, tomorrow I'll bring you some sketches and see if you like what I did with your concepts, because it's the other thing I had done to really get the character out of my head was I had drawn him, and I am not an artist, but I had to get it down. And anywho, so he took that original kind of concept and he tweaked it, and then eventually he tweaked it quite a bit to make it much more practical for the comic page. How I had drawn it had so many bolts and different little things that are very impractical for movement and for drawing again and again. But yeah, that second day, I loved his work. And we connected and we shook on it and got a good contract going and written and got those signed, and he started up on it, and we've been working together now for 6 years, something like that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. That's a great story. I never get old of hearing that, man. No, and the chat actually really wanted to bring this up because if this is a coincidence, it's hilarious. But Adam M says I got the Coyote and Looney Tunes vibes, Coyote and Looney Tunes World of Mayhem. And ironically enough, there actually is a coyote in the world of Jack Irons.
Yep, who has a very Looney Tune aesthetic and is actually, I've read, I have a co-editor in Ironverse Comics, a prodigious writer. He goes by Dollar Coins at the moment. He's done 10 issues, a whole full arc written of Cactus Coyote, and basically each arc will end very similar with a Roadrunner-like alien kind of squashing everything that that had come before and stealing whatever he had tried to really get a hold of or whatever as a running gag. So there is most definitely there's not only Coyote, there's a Roadrunner, and I'm relatively certain that Roadrunner also has some very cool things that'll happen down the road.
Well, that's awesome, man.
Hey guys, if the banner is blocking anything on the screen, let me know and I'll remove it.
Okay. Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. I appreciate that.
Right.
Yeah, no, this looks good.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. So here's another shot, and we see this bar in the first couple issues. It's called Cody's Place.
That was 100. So originally, there's an ongoing character. So what the ongoing framing device between issues 1 through 3, and it'll probably be 1 through 6, is Jack in this bar telling these stories. So there's a bit of incredulity to him. So you can't 100% believe that what he's doing he actually did, or that he is an immortal. That was part of it. But the guy next to him, right there, that was originally Max's idea. He wanted to draw me in there. And instead of that, he ended up naming the bars after me. So
Okay,
that was
well,
like
that's a fair
that was the
compromise,
compromise.
Yeah.
Because I did, I'm a fine-looking fella, sure, but I didn't know if I wanted to be the placeholder for the reader myself. So yeah, we've kept this fat trucker guy, and you've seen his ass crack a few times throughout the series, and probably won't be the last.
So we do have a few questions in the chat here. I'd like to get to. So Cody, or rather Jeremy, asked earlier, what was the origins of those mechanical horses that we saw earlier?
I hope to explore that further in later issues of Jack. They make a return in issue 3. In issue 1, you just kind of see them, and it's kind of a tease, quite literally a tease. You don't see it much more. But beginning with issue 3, they're a big part of it. They are they're named Mike and Lucy, and they are each a half of a sentient AI that Jack built back in the early 90s in his alternate history, that he had to split into 2 different things. His way not to make Skynet was to split it up and put it into animal chassis that he had built and just treat them like really smart animals. And so far that's worked. And so that's what Mike and Lucy are. I'm excited to explore that more because there's a lot of cool things that go alongside that particular bit. But yeah, I'm excited for the return because I want to see Maxie take another stab at their design, because between issue 1 and 2 there was a good 4.5-5 year gap in his line art experience, and it's not too visible. Nobody really brings it up unless I do, which is I find odd, but I do want to see that progression because he got more stylized and has more of a. Again, it's more stylized. It's more of a recognizable look. Very James Herron and Jamie Hallett influenced.
Very nice, man. Well, another question we have from the chat says, Adam M asks, what animes do you know? Do you have any favorites they might give us today?
Quite a few. I'm a big anime fan. So I started with, I guess the start would have been probably Saturday Morning Pokemon, if you wanna really be there on Fox Kids or whatever it was. But after that, then that was back before I even knew there was a anime versus. I think they even were calling it Japanimation at that point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the bridge there was a while back, but it was Adult Swim and maybe Toonami. Toonami, I guess, was the next one I went to, and the next one I remember very well from Toonami was the second season or second series of Zoids. I forgot what it's called, the qualifier, but the one with the white liger and such. That really got me hooked into anime, even with its kind of slightly goofy CGI aesthetic. But that was pretty badass, and I like the model kits. Transformers, I guess, also was another one back in the day that it's hard to consider an anime, but it kind of is, depending on where it's produced. But more recently, the next thing I remember very well was Inuyasha. Watched the hell out of that. I like the demons and the gore, and I was a sucker for the romantic plot. I can't lie there. Then after that was Cowboy Bebop. Anything that was on Adult Swim, late night. Cowboy Bebop, Trigun. Trigun's a big influence on Jack. Cowboy Bebop, in a way, for the noir aesthetic and the noir aesthetic's probably the main thing, but some of the characterizations too. Trying to keep tragedy and cool at a balance. What else?
It's funny, it's funny, dude. Jack Irons, I feel like, would be a good fit as like an anime on Toonami. If that existed in some alternate universe. You know what I mean?
I would think so. There's a lot of ways. The way, my favorite way would be to go old school Ralph Bakshi, like rotoscoping, and give it that older kind of ethereal feel. But
interesting.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
You don't see
But
that too much these days, do you?
no, that style is kind of basically completely dead. I bet you could emulate it pretty well. But again, I don't know. Uh, uh, outside, what I'm trying to think of if there's any more, because there's a lot of anime I watch and enjoy quite a bit. More recent anime. I enjoyed. Of course, I started into My Hero Academia. It was really good as far as I got to it. I got into One Punch Man, and I've seen that up currently. I don't read the manga there. Dragon Ball Z was probably one of the first ones I saw, and I've read the hell out of the Dragon Ball manga. I love me some Dragon Ball. Um, there's so much good anime.
Oh, I know there is.
Wolf's
There like
Rain, I watched from episode 1 to
Wolf's
30
Rain,
all
oh
in
my God.
one take. I could not finish that story in one
That's
shot.
a hard one,
That
man.
was,
That's a tough
yeah, that was tough. Um, there's so much good. I'm a big fan of the Studio Ghibli films.
Oh
My
yeah,
favorite
right.
manga plus my favorite film of all time is
Mm.
Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. The manga hits all the same notes as the movie, but then goes so much deeper and hits so much harder. Wonderful read. I really recommend anybody who liked the movies to check that out. It's one of the few mangas that Miyazaki actually put out, and he really poured his heart and soul into it. The art is not a classic anime kind of, or a classic manga cutting corners kind of art. It's very Western in its paneling and in its detail. It's a gorgeous book. I'd love to see it colorized at some point, but that's
Oh
not going to
man.
happen.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you sharing some of your inspirations there with anime.
Yeah, man, I'd probably keep going if I kept thinking about it, but
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, we could both, you and me both.
yeah, exactly.
Because I was grew up on Toonami as well, so I totally get that. Yeah. Now, I have one more question before we move on to checking out the campaign again. Phantom Star Productions says, have you read any of the Toonami comics like Intruder 2, Trapped, or Downside Dregs?
I had not heard of any of those, so I would assume I haven't read them then. Which
Okay,
is, I didn't know
believe-
Toonami had comics, so that is something
they
I'm going
actually
to
do
need
have
to
a few.
rectify.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
Phantom's
Toonami's.
sorry.
Go ahead, man.
As I said, Phantom's a fellow staff member and
Oh yeah.
creator, co-founder of Toonami Squad Gaming Zone.
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah,
right
I
on.
didn't realize
Right
that.
on.
Yeah. So we go way back, you might say. No, I love supporting the Toonami Squad Gaming Zone. You know, I always love seeing the stuff that you guys are doing over there. So definitely cool, man. But as for let's see, oh yeah. So as for the comics, yeah, you go check them out, man. They're pretty interesting. They have they have Tom as like the main character,
Oh, okay.
and it's
Okay.
kind of like the almost like the little shorts they do on the
Yeah.
during the programming block.
Oh, okay. Oh, that could be fun.
Yeah, they're fun. I think it's free actually, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, you're free.
Yeah,
So
they're all free.
yeah, you can't beat that, man.
Oh, dope. Yeah, no, you can't beat that at all.
Right.
Man, I'm trying to compete with that here. Shush. Kidding.
Hey man, you are giving out a free promo, so
It's true. It's true, folks.
yeah, people go to
After you're done checking
main
out some
page, yeah.
Toonami comics, check out some Jack Irons.
And so the first issue is available in black and white for people to check out right now. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, for free. And there's, again, a companion manga, the Cactus Coyote manga on the same site. If you guys are interested, that one's a little less professional, but a lot more fun, I would say. It's definitely a looser sense of humor, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, getting back to the campaign, there are a number of tiers, of course, different things that are being offered as perks for back in the campaign. So Cody, could you tell us a little bit about the first year?
All right, so that first featured one gets you all 3 issues, a 11x17 pinup, and a sticker. And the 2 first issues will have exclusive variant covers only available during this campaign, which means there'll be a limited print run. And were we to actually hit the ground on the collector's market, I've seen what can happen to limited print runs. And thank goodness I saw it beforehand and unfold, because there's some weird stuff that happens once collectors become interested. So we're prepared for that, and I'm hoping other folks will those who invest in our work and invest in us enjoy the reads, and hopefully we can also give them back if they need to need a few extra bucks down the road. Hopefully, that's part of the hope. Of course, you'll get issue 3, which will be a first edition, which again, limited print run, and the reprints will be available through Wikid Publishing down the line. But issue 3 can't be reprinted if it's not made at first, so we'll deal with that down the road. The sticker, if you're curious about that, the image is way down at the bottom of the campaign. If you folks are interested and you're checking out the page and don't know where that is, it's a wonderful little piece by our letterer Vincent Rush and our colorist for the first issue, Matthias Laborde. Gorgeous little piece. He has more of a Todd McFarlane, Greg Capullo style, and fits great on Jack. He's actually working on a mini that we hope to include in the back of issue 3 were we to fund, a little 8-page mini starring Tracker Top Predator. That will be a lot of fun when it happens. And so that's what you get in the complete package. Right there is $25, and I believe it is an average of 7 shipping, which helps me pay for other things. You spread around the margins on these campaigns, the profit margins, best you can. Last campaign we did basically free shipping internationally, and that was insane. It was just crazy, but we did it. And folks really enjoyed the work. So and so far, people have been willing to pay the shipping, the particularly crazy shipping to like the Netherlands and such, which upwards of $30. So people value these books, and I'm hoping you folks give them a look and see if you're comic fans. I think we're offering something very unique and very cool, and it's a great way to get your feet wet in Wikid Publishing, which is also releasing a bunch of other cool titles that may be more up your style, maybe not. We're definitely the science fiction western there, but there's also supernatural works, historical pieces, zombie sci-fi a little bit. There's some fun stuff. There's some fun stuff going down at Wikid. But yeah, so that's the first perk. We would actually add, there's 6 crossover pieces between other indie comic properties that are also being done for the issue, which they were either going to be little trading cards or they're going to be in the back of the book. That has not been decided. But there's a lot of little extras I want to be able to do as well that you could get with that. But that pretty much covers the complete package.
Awesome, and just to give my 2 cents on it, as Cody was saying, we're here at Wikid Publishing. We've been putting out a number of books for a while now, and so we work with a great independent printer who prints out all the books with a really, really top-notch quality and really keeps the costs down. So we're able to put out some really great-looking books, and we're really proud of what we've done over the last year or 2, honestly. So we've had a lot of experience shipping these books out for multiple Indiegogo campaigns. So you can rest assured knowing these books are going to get you in good quality and in good timing. So that's what we bring to the table for our part as book publishing.
And that's a huge concern with crowdfunding. Is am I even going to get this book? And between Ironverse Comics and Wikid Publishing, you're going to get this book, folks. By hook or by crook, and definitely that was proven with our last campaign, which was a very loose, very odd campaign. I've never seen the likes of copied with how that was done. I'm 98% sure it wasn't against the terms and services, but we were pretty close by offering physical perks without collecting addresses, but we had to collect them ourselves. It was a heck of a journey. If folks are interested, it's easy enough to find our previous campaign. We made 9.1K. Last campaign. I was hopeful to cross over this one, and still hopeful, but we'll see. We're working at it, but we've got we've proven experience and proven quality. At least those 2 things you can rest assured of.
Right, and with having one successful campaign under your belt, it really helps, honestly. Now, in this next perk, we have digital only. So this is if you just want to get the book digitally, you're not interested in necessarily getting a physical copy. But every little bit helps, honestly.
Yeah, and I think originally they release post this virus and such. I believe the books will be selling for $3 digitally. So the $2 extra not only goes to help us fund issue 3 and the printing, shipping, all the other fun stuff when you back digital, but you'll also be getting exclusive digital merch. We have a small soundtrack, which is 5 tracks at the moment. One of them hasn't been released elsewhere. We have a wonderful indie rock artist who helps us called Laguna Munta. He does great work, great soundtrack. You folks can check out actually on just look up Laguna Munta and you'll see his work actually. Pretty quick and easy. So you'll be getting some songs. You'll be getting concept art. You'll be getting bonus art and stuff that didn't make it into the book. You get access to the fan art gallery as well, which is well over 200 pieces at this point. All kinds of cool stuff just for that extra little payment there to help us make the book and have you be able to get your copy digitally.
Very nice, man. Very nice. And I've heard those songs. They're pretty awesome, man. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. The next one's the digital package, which is all 3. Same basic idea, but you get all 3 books.
Okay, very nice. Yeah.
Digitally.
Move on to our next physical tier here. Our first physical tier, rather. That's the featured one.
Yep. So number 3 in extras. So you get the pinup, you get the sticker, and you just get issue number 3. I believe it comes out to $15 shipped domestically. Depending, if we were to fund, then the first stretch goal will get everybody a second pinup as well. But competitively, price-wise, we compared to a ton of other campaigns, we're actually giving you a heck of a deal on a 48-page comic and a pinup and a sticker. So I'm hoping folks continue to take advantage of it while it's up.
Definitely, man. And there's a perk coming up I can't wait for you to talk about. Before we get to that, can you tell us a little bit about the store bundle?
So the store bundles, and we actually have sold, 6, I believe, of the store bundle, is 15 issues, 5 of each of the first 3 issues, and all 5 of our pinups on offer for stores for resale. So folks are getting a good discount on the bulk of the issues, enough that they can make a profit selling them. And sadly, we can only ship this domestically because it is bulk, and that weight really changes prices for shipping once you go across borders. So I couldn't offer that, and I actually had at least one store who was kind of disappointed I couldn't ship to the UK. So there's demand for these bulk bundles, but even internationally. So, and there's a limited amount of them, too. There is, I believe I only put up for 15, and we sold 6. So if we could sell those other 9s, that'd be great. I know right now comic stores are having a really hard time, so I was completely, I was blown away that we've sold so many of these bundles already. That's, 75 issues we sold just out of that. So that was great.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations, man. That's great.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one, we have the Steel.
All right, so this is a fun one. So you get everything in the complete package alongside a one of only 100, or only 50, I believe, actually. Yeah, only 50. One of only 50 comic cover-sized metal prints of Jack. So you get a solid, long-lasting collectible to go with your other stuff. And, of course, I'm signing it. That helps add to the price, and hopefully the limited amount of them also adds to their collectability, and again, hopefully it can also become an investment alongside your enjoyment of the reads.
And I mean, come on, it's the Jack Iron Steel Cowboy, and you have a metal print. I mean, that's yeah. I mean, how much better can you get than that, right?
I'm hoping eventually to figure out the chromium cover thing, but that's down the line.
Hey man, I'll take a metal print any day of the week, man. So
yeah,
I'm personally super stoked to see it. I've never seen a metal print. And so I'm really excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah, I've seen their work. It's the company's called Fairy Metal. I've seen their work on bookmarks and trading cards. I haven't seen a full print, but it's quality, and it's going to last for a while. And the artwork doesn't scratch off very easily or any of that. They do great work.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Fairy Metal. from a
Yeah.
few different people. So yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. Now we get to
Jeremy
the
Lott
next
asked
one.
real quick.
Yeah.
Number 3 is 48 pages. Yes, most likely just 32 pages of pure story content. Could be 40 pages of story content if we fund and then get to a first stretch goal that would allow us to put that Vincent Rush short in the back. That would be killer.
And what's really nice about, especially for people who are just jumping into the campaign for the first time now, is you're not just getting one issue of 40 plus page story. You're actually you can get through up to 3 issues. So there's actually a lot of material.
Yeah, you're getting 88 pages of story content if you're getting all 3 issues, but 128 pages of content overall.
Wow.
For that 25 and 7, besides the extra pinup and such. We have also, if you were to get a perk, we have add-ons available in the perks. One's for a T-shirt, and the others are so you can snag all the prints on offer. And we have wonderful prints that we funded last campaign from a bunch of crazy cool indie talent. So that's worth checking out as well.
And then we finally have the final perk here, which is one of my absolute favorite ones. Can you tell us about the Cowboy?
This is a big boy. This is great. I've been actually watching it be worked on live the last few days. He just took out I think he just finished the mold today, which was wonderful. I just saw him take Jack
amazing.
out of the mold. So it is a 4-inch figurine of Jack Iron Steel Cowboy, hand painted by myself. I do some miniature painting. I've been doing it for a while, and it's going to look good. I'll make sure of that. Put a good 10 hours of effort into each one. That's why the price is so high. They will be limited. I will be doing a nice little certificate of authenticity and signing that for you folks. And you'll be getting the steel as well, so you'll be getting that metal print, and you'll be getting all the comics, and you'll be getting the sticker and the pinup. Hopefully multiple pinups if we got that far. But the figure's gorgeous. There is a 3D show of the prototype rotating down below. If folks want to see what it looks like in person, that's on the page just below the sticker image. Yeah, it's way at the bottom though, but it's there. If folks are interested. So it's a wonderful little mock-up. And I'm excited too. Those figurines are not limited to the campaign. The painting, me personally painting them and numbering and all that, that's limited to the campaign. But the figurines actually will be on offer through Wikid Publishing here soon. So if you and at a much greater discount than what I'm charging for my good 10 hours of effort or whatever, however I'm going to put into them for you folks. So.
The thing is that I would say though is that we don't, well, obviously we won't be painting them, but not only that, but when you back it here, it actually goes to funding the book itself.
And that's the big one. I mean, my percentage of whatever comes out from those figures will probably go into the books as well. But that's a much slower method. And again, that's really for people who want a very unique piece of memorabilia, one of a kind each time. Because I'm not going to be doing assembly line painting unless there seems to be an okay demand with it. Take time and care on each one and make sure you folks get your money's worth. So far, we've sold 2 or 3, something like that. Actually, I can check. What am I thinking? But yeah, there's that, 11-second video of the very cool figurine rotating. Yeah, we sold 2 of those, which is wonderful.
And we're working with a great guy by the name of Model 316 on Twitter, and he does some really amazing work with 3D models.
Yeah, he's a very experienced talent. He used to work for Viacom. He did a lot of 2D to 3D translation stuff, taking 2D animation and turning it into a 3D physical kind of object. He works in all kinds of different things. Just yesterday he was talking about he had a deal with somebody else to make some kind of specific type of mask, filter mask. So he's got all kinds of manufacturing skill, and it definitely shows. He translated Jack into a more realistic 3-dimensional figure quite well. It's a gorgeous little piece of work.
And did you say what size it is?
I believe it's 4 inches.
Very nice, yeah. That's
which
awesome,
is I think that's the 90 millimeter scale or whatever. I believe. Could be wrong, folks. Folks who are little bit more continuously versed in miniatures will probably know it better than me. But I think it's 4
Mm.
inches.
And if that means you're going to get pretty good detail on the figure there.
He said the 3D printer, so what made the original model you're seeing right there, that also then makes the mold, points down to a third of a human hair's worth of detail.
Oh my god.
So it's very high detail, very high detail, and
That's awesome.
it should be a fun piece to paint too if you folks are into that model painting and assembling stuff. It should be fun. I mean, I'm super excited. I want to get my hands on one so I can paint it.
Right, let's get those out there soon, man. Now, just kind of finishing up here, we'll look a little bit more of the art before we stop sharing with the page here. But again, we see here one of the 4 horsemen of apocalypse. It looks like.
Yeah, in particular, that's Plague. We're all feeling a little bit of him lately, but that's him getting his little bit of power through his brother Famine and taking over the world basically with a Faustian bargain. And that's his address to the UN, and it works. And it works very well. Definitely check out issue 2, folks, for a little bit more of that and see what we did with that. You can see more of Maxie's amazing art too. I love what he did with that. That's a bit of photo overlay that he inked alongside his own line art. So that's a literal assembly from the UN that was done, so he could save a little bit of time. And it gives that again that Ralph Bakshi kind of shadowy look. If folks have seen like Fire and Ice, it gives that little kind of an odd ethereal look to it, and it's just so incredible. Such a fan.
Well, and I personally love, as a comic fan, when people use heavy inking for shadowing and things like that. It adds such a unique and kind of striking visual look to it.
Well, and another thing folks might find interesting is that all the line art is done traditionally, so it's actual inks. It's actual ink and paper and physical work, and yeah, it comes out great. And there will be eventually, we will be selling original pages. I wanted to do that this campaign, but with them located in Argentina, the shipping's crazy, so I would have had to charge crazy, and then pay Maxi for the page. So it would have been a crazy rate for the pages that I did not believe I could sell to folks. I could have been wrong, but so I'll be looking into that next go. But yeah, that's one of the best parts. You can see his hand strokes on the ink and how the ink decides to lie instead of digital line art, which can get a little too clean for what we're trying to do with Jack.
Well, no, that makes sense. Yeah. So again, these are some imagery from issue number 2.
Yes. That's the opening page from issue number 2. That was when I knew Maxi had really upped the hell out of his inking game since issue 1. That city came out crazy.
No, that's awesome, man. Now, what got you inspired to kind of want to do a weird space western in the first place?
I don't know. To be honest,
that's a great answer. That's a good one. I don't know. I think that was a genre I really respected when I was writing these. One that westerns have a lot of freedom, whether it's searching for freedom or actual freedom. And that's a big part in Jack. He wants to be free from the burden of his past lives and free from the burden of his current mortality or lack of mortality. And so that's part of it. I wanted to do a immortal man's dead man's walk. So that's what you get with westerns. You got to have a dead man's walk. But beyond that, if you're dealing with an immortal, you might as well move the time frame a little bit. So that's what we did too, and that's what makes it the science fiction angle. And there was just a lot of high concepts I wanted to explore that the mix of genres allow me to do. Honestly, if you read these books, you'll see there's also a mix of the fantasy genre, and there's a few other genres mixed in there. If I had to just pick 3, it's a sci-fi, western, fantasy. But it's also dystopian, obviously. It's a few other things. But As an action adventure. There's a lot of different mixes there. That's one of the comments we've gotten is there's a lot of mix of genres, but the main that come through are the science fiction western, and I think that's probably because they're my favorite genres and they're the ones I wanted to work in.
No, that makes honestly makes a lot of sense, and you're obviously doing some great stuff with it. Here we are.
Basically,
we have Cactus Coyote here.
Yeah, I just wanted to tease some folks. That pinup was also has a possibility of being offered this campaign as an extra pinup. There's a lot of things we had in store for surprises that weren't part of the campaign that were going to be, again, surprises for backers that I'm having to not be surprises, which is bugging me a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, Cactus Coyote, that particular piece, it's one of my favorites. It's from Cactus Coyote. We ran a campaign last year for Cactus Coyote, the actual comic and not the manga. So it had tighter line art, and that's one of the promotional pieces. And also with our wonderful colorist Stephen Cannon, but another artist called Andrea Boscolo, who's worked for Warner Brothers and a bunch of other folks doing kind of cartoon sketches. So it was a perfect fit, and I'm excited to hop onto that again. We should actually have the 10-page mini that we were funding during that last campaign done here pretty quick, so that'll be fun. So we'll have both the manga and the 10-page intro comic about ready. So more adventures in Ironverse Comics, but the prime adventure, the one that drives everything forward, does need your help in the next couple days to keep moving forward faster. I'm always open to learning, and every every day is a new learning experience, and particularly in comics and in marketing and crowdfunding. Every day is something new, and however this goes, I'm going to learn something, and I'm going to apply it and get better and better, hopefully. But now's the time if you folks want to get a hold of this. Otherwise, it's going to be it adds months to our timetable if I was going to do a campaign again. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one, folks. But if you enjoy what we're doing, you like what I'm saying, or if I'm talking too much and you just want to read it so it can speak for itself, which is always what I prefer folks do, please do. Again, $1 each for issue 1 and 2 in full color on Wikid's website, as well as a free-to-read introductory issue on Tapastic. Just look up Jack Irons, Steel Cowboy, TAPAS at the end there, and you'll find the link right there and be able to check out that whole first issue. See if you like Jack as a character, because if you do, you're going to like his journey.
Definitely, yeah, and it's just getting started. This is a big epic universe you've started to build here, and Jack Irons is just the beginning.
Absolutely. I really want to kick the horsemen out of reality, and I need your help to do that, folks. I do.
And you're getting close. You're 67% here. You're very to the wire. You have 2 days left, but you're so close. It really could happen. So we need every little bit helps. So
it could. And folks, if we were not to fund, you are refunded, I believe, within a week of the campaign's closing. So you're not taking too much of a risk if you want the book. Even a $1 donation or such will make a big difference, and you will be getting it back if it's not successful. If it is successful, then you've helped do something very cool for some struggling artists, a new publishing wing, and to be a little unhumble indie comics overall.
True. No, it's true. It really does help.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, we appreciate you giving the opportunity for us to come on today, and I guess we'll take some questions if anyone has in the chat has questions.
There's some fun ones. Sadly, I don't recognize the name Himko Toga from Hero Academia. Apologize. Can't answer that one. JoJo, I tried to watch the first few episodes, and they are just so heavy and so dark compared to what I've seen the rest of the series is. I've had a hard time working through them on a personal bit, but I've heard it's an outrageous series.
Oh, it's good, but yeah, a lot of animal violence, I have to say.
Yeah. Phantom Star, anime voice actor Sonny Strait worked on a comic series called Elf's Quest. I actually have a few issues of Elf's Quest. It's pretty fun. It's a very 80s kind of vibe to it, but it's fantasy, and if you like your fantasy, that's a good series. Elf's Quest.
Awesome.
Have I seen Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker? Absolutely, I have. It's been a little bit. That's a fun little romp. I always liked Batman Beyond. Particularly, my favorite bit is when they kind of try and finish Batman Beyond in Justice League Unlimited, and they give him his origin and where he came from, and she kind of tries to Amanda Waller tries to get him not to hate Bruce, and that whole line is wonderful. She tells a story of how he just sat with the Ace from the Royal Flush Gang while she passed from a horrible brain tumor. It's a very heavy episode, but it's a great episode. It really shows Bruce's depth of heart, and that was what she was trying to communicate. It's a great episode. Paul Dini, of course, freaking giant in superheroes, period, let alone just comics. I got a T-shirt of the Gorillaz band. My artist's a big fan of God, I hope I'm saying Jamie Howlett, but it might be Howler. God, the artist for the Gorillaz. He's a big fan of him, so I'm hoping that translates a little bit. In fact, Jack has been construed as a monkey a few times, so it kind of fits. Kind of fits.
Yeah, I could see that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, especially with issue 2, there's a few shots where I could see it. I could see it.
Oh, that's too funny, man. Well, yeah, no, I mean, that's awesome, man. Like you said, this comic's gonna happen either way. It's just gonna be a matter of time. So, if you guys like what you see, please check it out, back the book, and it'll get here that much faster. So it does.
The other one, if you folks aren't adverse to Patreon, that's the real way we can actually make this a continuous, ongoing, bi-monthly at first, and then monthly release set of comics. We just got to get that high enough, and even $1 a month on our Patreon can make a huge difference that way as well. If we got up to $5K a month, we will release a book basically each month. It's doable. My team's ready for it. We have all the setup for it. Everything's ready to go. We just need your support on that angle. Otherwise, this one's the one that keeps us going and gets you guys some exclusive stuff. So check it out if you're interested.
Definitely, man. And then we'll just I'll close up the sharing of the page here with just saying that we have 2 days left, 67% of the fixed goal. So that fixed goal means that if they don't make the goal, then all the money gets refunded. So that it really is a make it or break it situation with this one. So we really want to see it funded now, and then go check it out, please. And again,
because otherwise, there's 2 months more of a wait for you folks, at least. So that's we don't need that if you folks want to continue it now. And I hope if you dive into those first 2 issues on the various ways you can, you will want more.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you guys letting us come on to your Toonami Squad podcast. Again, of course, I'm part of the Toonami Squad, but I always appreciate when you guys look out for us and help promote our stuff. So we definitely appreciate that. Did you guys have any questions about the comic right now, or anything you guys wanted to kind of ask at this time?
Sam, you've been pretty quiet.
Just taking it all in.
You there, Sam?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
No, I appreciate it. Michael and I have had a rapport for a while, so
I
will apologize if we took the reins a little much.
Oh, no. Since I haven't read the comic, I don't feel confident in speaking out for it. But it looks cool, and I will definitely give it a read.
Definitely, cool. And in fact, we actually sent Sam out a copy, and I think you might be doing a review on it in the near future. So possibly look out for that on the Toonami Squad website.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if that happens, thank you so much. If not, I hope you at least enjoy the read. That's the whole reason we do this.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's for the love of making comics, and honestly, when someone reads my book or your book or anything, I know how much that means to me. So I can definitely attest to that for sure. Is there anything you want to tell to people out there who are kind of thinking about maybe backing your book, Cody?
Oh boy, always feel free to reach out to me either through the campaign page or through any means you find us, there's usually a way to get a hold of the creator. I do my best to get right back to folks, whatever the platform. But the top platform that I'm on pretty much constantly is Twitter, at @cowboy_steel. You can find me there. Promote indie comics. I interact with fans. I answer questions and just enjoy comic fandom. And I would welcome more folks saying howdy. I always will.
That's awesome, man. Well, where can people find you so they can check out all the stuff you got going on?
Well, besides that Twitter account, I also have a YouTube, Ironverse Comics. Just look that up. Mainly Let's Plays and comic book updates. A few interview streams here once in a while. Just a general talking stream once in a while. It's just a place for folks to reach me live, like right now, and ask questions right away and get them straight from my voice and hear how I'm saying it, and hopefully enjoy what we're doing. Aside from that, yeah, just check out the various platforms the books are on. And also, while you're checking out Wikid Publishing's website, make sure and check out other awesome Wikid titles. A bunch of them just came out the last month or so on digital, and wonderful creators and wonderful books. Definitely worth your time and worth checking out.
Oh, yeah. That's actually a good thing we should mention as well, which is that the first couple issues of Jack Irons are available digitally for 99 cents. So if you're still hesitant about backing the books and you want to get a little bit more of a taste, you can check that out as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's 96 pages for $2. It's not bad at all.
Exactly. And then if you want to get that third issue and back the book, you'll get those physical issues for the first two as well. So it's a nice way to see if it's something for your cup of tea, if you're maybe just a little bit hesitant about backing it just yet, which we can understand, in this environment, backing something new. But we hope that what you've seen today can kind of help convince you to give it a look at least.
Yeah, if your folks are fans of the recent, literally very recent, the last 2 issues came out before this virus hit, of Wolverine, the colorist for it has generously lended his talents to issue number 1's variant cover, which you can also see on the campaign, and you can see some of his work on Maxie's lines above it. Right now it's sitting with him, so it's got a little bit of clout to it, if I may say so. It was crazy that he found us and wanted to work with us. He's probably one of the most in-demand colorists in comics at the moment. Fucking crazy.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah, congratulations again about that. That's pretty awesome, man.
And that variant cover's happening either way too, without the campaign. So look forward to that as well, just because of how he wanted to go about everything. Again, just wonderful. So a lot of good mojo with this book as well. Good fans, amazing fans. Some of the best in indie comics, and I'm excited to continue. However that moves forward, but yeah, this has been a plea to help us move forward now while there's an opportunity.
And I just want to say in the chat, Zero Fox says, spend the money for physical. Excellent quality.
Zero Fox is our wonderful logo artist, and yeah, he knows quality. Very much so. He does great work for us, and I'm glad he's been enjoying the print books, because I certainly have. I've been blown away by the print quality. They should last you folks a long time. If you're careful, they're not going to be tough. They're still paper. Haven't figured out and make them metal yet.
That's pretty funny.
What's that, boss?
I said I just caught his username. I just got his username. That's pretty funny.
Oh.
That's in our books too. Logo by Zero Fox.
It's too funny. I just got it now too after you said that, which is hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
After years working with us, you just got that?
Right?
Seriously?
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. That's funny, man. Wow. Oh man.
Oh.
Well, thank you again, guys. I really appreciate you having us on tonight.
No problem. Glad to help out.
I echo that and more again. And thank you folks for listening as well and engaging in chat. I really appreciate it. And didn't have to listen to us, so thank you.
All right. Well, I guess if that's all the questions in the chat, then I guess should we wrap up for the night? Do you think?
If you guys, I guess so.
Sure, man.
You got anything to say, Sam?
I hope you guys meet your goal. I know it's 2 days till the end, but I hope you meet it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be pushing pretty hard. I've got another stream tomorrow. It's gonna be a pretty fun drinking stream that might work. And folks have been getting their stimulus in, so if they were doing all well already, maybe they can throw us a couple bucks. That'd be great. But however it goes, it goes. And I appreciate everyone. There's been a crazy amount of support for this book, particularly this last week, and it's been extremely heartening. So, and again, you folks are contributing to that, so thank you.
No problem. You're
Oh,
welcome.
man.
So thank you guys for joining us, and thank you to everyone in the chat who asked questions and was watching. Be sure to follow us at Toonami Squad, at Toonami Squad Pod, and at Toonami Squad Gaming on Twitter. Be sure to follow Wikid Publishing at Wikid Publishing on Twitter, at Cowboy_Steel on Twitter. You can follow me at JMB_70056, Sam at SC Universe. You can also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Toonami Squad Official. You can follow us on Instagram at Toonami Squad. I think that's about it. Make sure subscribe and rate us, like us on YouTube and where our podcast is at. We should have this episode up on our iTunes, Spotify, and all those other services tomorrow sometime, so you'll be able to re-listen to it there. Anything you guys want to add before we end?
I'm
No,
set
okay.
again. Just grateful again for everybody, and hope they'll be brave enough to venture into the wastes of the weird space west.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys again.
All right, guys.